I'm about to reveal something that will make you question everything you've been taught about reality. And I need you to understand, once you learn this, there's no going back to living small. 3 months ago, I was having coffee with someone who built a 9-figure empire from nothing. No rich parents, no connections, no special talents. And when I asked him what changed everything, he looked me dead in the eyes and said something that shattered my understanding of how the world actually works. He said, "Most people are trying to change their reality while still being the same person. That's like trying to tune into a different radio station without touching the dial. The frequency has to shift first, then everything else follows." That conversation led me down a rabbit hole that ancient texts have been describing for thousands of years, but modern science is just now proving. It's called quantum identity shifting. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how the ultra-wealthy use this to collapse timelines and manifest outcomes that seem impossible to everyone else. Here's what that billionaire taught me that night. He said most people are living as victims of their own frequency. They wake up every morning broadcasting the same signal they've been sending for years, wondering why their life looks exactly the same. But the ultra-successful, the ones who seem to have reality bend around them, they understand something fundamental. Your identity isn't who you are. It's a frequency you're choosing to broadcast every single moment. Let me prove this to you with quantum physics. In the quantum field, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. Your observation doesn't just witness reality, it creates it. But here's the kicker that changes everything. You're not observing as a neutral witness. You're observing as a specific identity with a specific frequency. That means the version of reality you collapse into existence is determined by who you're being when you observe it. If you're being someone who struggles with money, you'll observe financial struggle. If you're being someone who attracts opportunities effortlessly, that's the reality you'll collapse into existence. The billionaire showed me his morning routine. It wasn't meditation or affirmations. It was identity calibration. Every morning, he would spend 15 minutes becoming the frequency of the person who already had everything he wanted. Not imagining it, not hoping for it, but actually shifting his cellular vibration to match that identity. He told me, most people try to get rich while still being poor on the inside. That's why lottery winners go broke. Their external reality changed, but their internal frequency stayed the same. The universe always corrects back to your dominant frequency. This is why some people can lose everything and rebuild it in months, while others work their entire lives and never break through. It's not about effort. It's about frequency. It's not about what you do. It's about who you're being while you do it. What that billionaire didn't tell me that night, but what I discovered through my own research, is that this isn't new knowledge. Ancient civilizations understood frequency manipulation at levels that make our modern science look primitive. Hermetic texts speak of as above, so below. The Vedic traditions talk about Maya, the illusion of separation between observer and observed. The Egyptian mystery schools taught that consciousness creates matter, not the other way around. They all knew the same secret. Reality is not fixed. It's a responsive field that mirrors back the frequency of the observer. And they developed specific techniques to shift identity at the quantum level. But here's where it gets interesting. Modern neuroscience is proving that these ancient masters were operating with surgical precision. When you shift your identity at the neurological level, you literally rewire your brain's default networks. You change the baseline frequency your nervous system broadcasts into the field. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows that when you rehearse being a different version of yourself in a meditative state, your brain fires the same neural pathways as if you were actually living that reality. After just 7 days of consistent practice, those new neural networks become stronger than the old ones. That means you can literally install a new identity like updating software. But here's what most people miss. They try to install the new identity while still running the old operating system. That creates conflict, resistance, and eventually, they revert back to their original programming. The ancient masters knew this. That's why they taught identity death before identity rebirth. You can't become who you're meant to be while still clinging to who you used to be. I learned this the hard way. For months, I tried to upgrade my reality while still identifying as someone who had to work hard for everything. My new intentions kept getting filtered through my old identity, creating mixed signals that the field couldn't respond to clearly. It wasn't until I completely released my attachment to my old story that everything shifted. The moment I stopped being someone who used to struggle and started being someone who naturally attracts abundance, the external world reorganized itself to match that new frequency. Let me give you the exact protocol that transformed everything for me. This isn't theory. This is the step-by-step process I use every single day to maintain quantum coherence between my identity and my reality. Before you can become who you want to be, you have to excavate who you currently are. Most people are unconscious of their dominant identity patterns. They're broadcasting frequencies they don't even know they're sending. Spend 5 minutes asking yourself these 3 quantum questions. First, who do I become when things don't go my way? Notice the identity that emerges during stress. That's your default programming. Second, what do I secretly believe I don't deserve? Your subconscious limitations always reveal themselves through what you push away. Third, what would I do differently if I knew I couldn't fail? This shows you the identity that's trying to emerge, but being suppressed by your current programming. Write down your answers. These are the frequency patterns you're going to replace. This is where you consciously choose who you're going to be. Not based on your past, not based on your current circumstances, but based on the reality you want to live in. Close your eyes and ask yourself, who is the version of me that already has everything I want? Don't think about it. Feel into it. Notice how they stand, how they breathe, how they make decisions, how they respond to challenges. This isn't visualization. This is identity embodiment. You're not imagining being that person. You're becoming that person right now, in this moment. The key is specificity. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Define exactly who that successful version of you is. How do they think? What do they believe? How do they spend their time? What's their relationship with money, with people, with opportunities? Once you've identified your quantum identity, you have to stabilize it. This is where most people fail. They access the new identity for a few minutes during meditation, then spend the rest of the day being their old self. Your job is to catch yourself every time you slip back into the old identity patterns and consciously choose the new one. When something challenging happens, instead of reacting as your old self, pause and ask, how would my quantum identity handle this? At first, this feels like acting. But after consistent practice, it becomes your new natural state. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways in real time. Within 48 hours of implementing this protocol, you'll start noticing micro-shifts. Different opportunities appearing, people responding to you differently, ideas flowing more easily, synchronicities increasing. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmation that your frequency has shifted and the field is beginning to match your new identity. Most people miss these early signals because they're too subtle, but they're the leading edge of massive change. Pay attention to them. Acknowledge them. Let them build your confidence in the process. Here's what nobody tells you about quantum identity shifting. The biggest challenge isn't learning the technique. It's maintaining the new identity when your old reality is still reflecting back to you. There's always a delay between shifting your frequency and seeing the physical manifestation. During that gap, your logical mind will try to convince you that nothing's changing. It will point to your bank account, your relationships, your circumstances as proof that the process isn't working. This is the quantum gap, and it's where most people give up. They shift their identity for a few days or weeks. Then when they don't see immediate external changes, they conclude it was all nonsense and revert back to their old programming. Asterisk. But here's what the masters know. The external world is always a reflection of your past frequency, not your current one. It takes time for the field to reorganize and for physical reality to catch up to your new vibration. During this transition period, you have to live in the knowing that the shift has already happened, even when your senses tell you otherwise. This isn't blind faith. This is quantum mechanics. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously. By maintaining your new identity consistently, you're collapsing the timeline where that reality is already manifest. I remember during my own transition, there was a 3-week period where nothing seemed to change externally. I had shifted my identity to someone who attracted high-value opportunities effortlessly, but my calendar was still empty, my phone wasn't ringing, and my income hadn't budged every day. I had to make the conscious choice to be that successful version of myself despite what I was seeing in my physical reality. I dressed like him, spoke like him, made decisions like him, spent money like him. On day 22, everything exploded. 3 major opportunities appeared in the same week. A collaboration that tripled my income, a speaking engagement that led to 10 more, and a partnership offer that changed everything. It wasn't gradual. It was sudden, dramatic, and seemingly out of nowhere. But I knew it wasn't random. It was the quantum field finally catching up to the frequency I had been holding. For 3 weeks. This is how quantum manifestation works. It's not linear, it's exponential. You maintain the new identity consistently, even when nothing seems to be happening. And then reality reorganizes itself all at once, every morning. Before you check your phone, before you look at your bank account, before you engage with any external stimuli, spend 10 minutes calibrating your identity frequency. Ask yourself, who am I choosing to be today? Not based on what happened yesterday, not based on what you have to do today, but based on the reality you're creating. Feel into that identity. Embody it completely. Let it saturate every cell of your body. This is your frequency baseline for the day. Throughout the day, whenever you notice yourself slipping into old patterns, pause and reconnect with your quantum identity. Make every decision from that frequency. Respond to every situation as that version of yourself. If you're ready to step into this level of reality creation, I want you to make a declaration right now, not just in your mind, but out loud. Let the field hear your commitment. Say this with me. I release my attachment to who I used to be. I choose to become the version of myself that already lives my desired reality. I am no longer becoming. I already am. Feel the shift as you say those words. You're not preparing for transformation. You're experiencing it right now. As we close, I want you to understand something profound. You didn't find this message by accident. The version of you that already lives your dream reality guided you here. They knew you were ready to make the shift. From this moment forward, you have a choice. You can go back to living as who you used to be, hoping that external circumstances will change first. Or you can step into the quantum identity that's been waiting for you to claim it. The ultra-wealthy, the seemingly lucky, the ones who make success look effortless, they all understand this one truth. Reality doesn't happen to you. Reality happens through you. And it happens through whoever you choose to be in each moment. Your quantum identity is not a future goal. It's a present choice. And every time you choose it, you're collapsing timelines and bringing that reality closer to manifestation. If you're ready to master this at the deepest level, to make quantum identity shifting not just a technique you try, but a way of life you embody, I've created something special. It's my complete quantum identity mastery system, where I walk you through the advanced protocols that the top 1% use to maintain their frequency regardless of external circumstances. You'll find the link in the description below. Because here's what I know about you. You're not here for small changes. You're here for quantum leaps. And quantum leaps require quantum identities. The only question is, who are you choosing to be right now?